Don't forget our gift cards at RitaYanez.com, and so am I. Under your bed.
Turn on the light! Turn on the light! Turn on the light!
Hi there, Sagittarius. This is your weekly reading for the week of December 14th through 20th. I hope you're doing great. I hope you feel good, and I hope that your holidays are off to a great start. This is going to be an interesting week, and we're going to talk about all of these influences as they relate to your personal life and maybe even the lives of others. On Monday, the card that you've drawn is the Ten of Pentacles. So this is great because you should be feeling pretty good starting off the week, feeling like everything is falling into place. So for those of you that do have family and friends and children and grandma and grandpa and the whole family picture and the dog, it could be quite obvious that you're feeling a sense of family, a sense of posterity, a sense of dynasty. And it doesn't have to mean that, you know, somebody's going to throw 10 pentacles at your face, but it could mean that you're feeling prosperous in terms of your home life, your security, the security that comes with knowing that all of your family members are taken care of, that everybody is doing well, is in good spirits, and their health is secure as well. So for those of you that don't have a family and you're single and you're like, Rita, I don't even have kids or a dog. I have no bird, no cat. It's just me and me. Well, this could be that on your mind is the focus of wanting to have that experience in your life, and maybe you'll get it if you have friends that could invite you to their family experience. And it could be that you've got some other single friends like yourself that are either too young or just are not in that stage of their lives when they have marriages under their belts, or maybe even divorces and children. But it could be that a few of you get together and create a kind of family experience amongst yourselves. So nobody's ever really left out. We do know that there are people who might be experiencing some personal issues or emotional issues where they really are feeling alone, or they're here and their family members are, of all things, even in another country. And there are ways to get around that. But of course, if you're feeling that isolated, that you're able to say, Rita, I don't identify with this experience at all, and I'm so lonely and I'm so sad, then the first thing is to get yourself together and decide, what is it that would make you feel better? An instant family, knowing that that isn't the easiest to achieve? Or would you feel better around being groups of people? Would you like to go to a church, maybe something non-denominational, so that nobody has to really create division or boundaries? You know, how much more of that can the world take, right? And the sign of Sagittarius is all about expanding, no borders, no boundaries, everyone loving and respecting each other. That's all about you. So you would do really well to join even an effort at a soup kitchen where you could create camaraderie with other people. Maybe when you see that there are other people in the world experiencing different levels of sadness and loneliness, or they have lack and they don't have anyone to show that they care, you could actually heal yourself by putting yourself in the position of being there for others, so that you can understand that there are other people who feel this way too. Could really give you the strength and the impetus to work on whatever it is that you feel is holding you back. Now, if you're able to say, Rita, I am terrified to even leave my home, I can't be among people, I have a variety of phobias, then maybe the truth is that you need to then figure out what kind of help is available to you. And it could be that you need to make one of those 211 type phone calls. I know in the United States, just about everywhere, if you dial 211 from a rotary, it will help you get to some help services. or you can Google the social services, or you can Google the health and welfare type agencies and say, hey, could you match me up with somebody who might be able to give me some help, especially if you're unemployed. Maybe you're at home with a disability issue. Maybe there's something going on and you don't even know what resources are available to you. So this is a card that could indicate for lots of people in different ways how a sense of security and a sense of family and belonging is possible, even if you don't have that now, how you could take the first few steps of becoming a part of a group of something larger. Maybe people that are experiencing substance abuse problems, they're addicted to one abuse type of issue or another, whether it's emotional abuse or it's a real chemical abuse, an alcohol dependency, a food issue, whatever it is, there's all kinds of help to help figure these things out. And if you say, well, I don't even have a job, I can't afford to get help, that's probably exactly what needs to happen, because there's lots of services for people when they can't afford it. And all of it is meant to rehabilitate you to your real self, to feeling good, to feeling like you can go out there and be among people and work through your issues in baby steps, one at a time. So if you don't have this kind of family or dynasty or belonging experience, it's probably right around the corner, but you may just need somebody to hold your hand and to help lead you in the direction so that you can discover it and all of these different beautiful qualities about yourself that people would love to get to know and would love to experience with you and about you in a friendly way. Those things are right around the corner for you. We start off the week with the Sun in Sagittarius squaring Jupiter in Virgo. Sagittarius being your solar first house for the purpose of this reading lets me know that Virgo is your solar 10th house. So there could be an issue right now where you're not really feeling that you are on the right path to your total happiness as it relates to your standing in the world, your career or profession of choice. What you need to do to achieve that may be eluding you. Maybe you just feel kind of lost and you're challenged in a way that makes you feel that the spotlight is on you and that the Sun in Sagittarius is saying, who are you? What do you identify with? Do you need some kind of appreciation or kudos, or just a tangible experience doing something that you feel contributes to the human experience to feel better? Or is it just that you're feeling a little down on your self-esteem because you're not feeling really like the love is there at your current place of employment, more specifically as it relates to your chosen career path? Young people, obviously, who are still in college in their 20s, they go through these same things too, but in a way, if they've been conditioned to go there, stay there, and not leave until they have their degrees completed, they actually work through this a little more fluidly. For the rest of us who haven't had that experience or didn't have anyone leading us through this, or for one reason or another weren't able to get to that place, it doesn't mean you can't get there now. And especially so for those of you who may be experiencing unemployment or an issue where some facet of your physical or psychological health is preventing you from being all that you can be. It might be that you just need some extra training and or certifications. And maybe you're like, Rita, you don't get it. I need a GED. Well, then that can be done as well. And of course, the social services would love to help you with this. It might feel at times a little basic, or you go in and they're going to teach you how to write a resume and you're like, dude, with what? I have no relevant experience. Then you say that and you pipe up and they help you, because their job, what they've chosen to do, is to help other people fulfill their lives in a way that's meaningful, productive, and assures their financial stability. So it's not like people are left out of this conversation. All of us are involved in it. We're either the helpers or we're the people that need the help. Maybe we receive the help and we go on to help other people in the same way. I've seen it time and time again where people come through drug addictions and food eating disorders, all kinds of problems, and then they turn around and they say, you know what? I can actually do this. I can actually be there for somebody else who needs this kind of help. How do I do that? What facet do I want to be involved in? And that could be something that ends up becoming the path that's illuminated for you. It begins first and foremost with the way you feel about yourself, of course. If you're a Sagittarius rising sign, especially so, this will be much more pronounced for you. If you're a Sagittarius sun, you need to see what house your Sagittarius represents, so that you know where the spotlight is. In example, if your descendant, if your moon sign is Sagittarius, then the emphasis is going to be about maybe taking better care of yourself in relationships and establishing healthy boundaries and or learning what healthy boundaries are with other people. So of course you need to know, very important to know your birth time, if at all possible, to be able to create a natal chart so that we know exactly where and when and at what time you were born, thus knowing what constellation was rising on the eastern horizon. There are plenty of tools out there on the internet for free that you're just going to, you could even find one on my website somewhere at ritayanez.com. There is a tool there to create your own natal chart so that you can get that information. It's free, but there are tons of them all over the place, so feel free to dive in. Mercury in Capricorn will sextile Neptune in Pisces, so Capricorn being your solar second house of income, possessions, the things you buy with your money, the toaster that you just bought, and the slip covers for the couches, and all of the other things that you put into your house and that you need in your experience, including a vehicle, and how you feel about them. The communication part of it is really asking you, in terms of Pisces being at the fourth house of your foundation, of your stability, the bottom of your chart, is saying, what is it about your experience relative to possessions and how you identify with them needs to be adjusted here. The kind of sextile adjustment really is an adjustment that comes from an opportunity to create a change that's lasting and to make corrections where they make sense. Sextiles are always opportunities, but when we do have adjustment energy, like a square happening along with it, we want to look and say, ooh, where is the potential here for making a correction? It could be that maybe Joe Blow from Idaho only feels good about himself if he's driving a Mercedes. It doesn't matter that he has to live in it because he has no place to sleep, because he can't afford his rent after he pays for the lease on his vehicle and the insurance for it. And so maybe there is something about his value system that needs an adjustment, that he isn't really all about an emblem on a car. That first and foremost, he has to respect and care and love himself enough to know that the vehicle means nothing, but safety and security means that you're able to command your own happiness and that it doesn't relate to how much money you have or you don't have. Most people just need to get it into gear to realize that since they're the ones that rely on themselves and they are not going to go out there looking for anybody to help buy their way through that Mercedes-Benz experience, then they realize they feel so much better when they're earning their own money. They're not dependent on mom or dad or some inheritance, which is really nice, but those, unless they're huge amounts of money, they don't last forever. Really, the experience is about earning your own money, about doing your own thing, about supporting yourself so that then you could have a very pleasant and sustaining and fulfilled experience in the world of people. Maybe this is just the only thing holding you back from creating a happy home life, a family of your own, because you still haven't gotten past the idea that you have to have a Range Rover and a Mercedes, and that if you don't live in a penthouse somewhere, you just must not be valid. Obviously, these are things that can create an imbalance in the value system as it relates to the foundation, the home. The whole stability function of a family really comes down to being able to take care of that family as well, right? The big difference between adopting a cat and adopting a baby, and for those of you that have ever been through an adoption process or planned your own babies, you know how difficult it is. You have to know exactly what's going to happen, and you don't figure out after the fact who's going to do the babysitting or which one of us stays home. These are things that we plan in order to create that pleasant, stable home experience. Now, on Tuesday, the card that you've drawn is the Four of Pentacles, which is fantastic because, again, it gives me the idea that you're really sure that you know you've got to change something and that you want to work with this energy, right? You know that you're hosting Saturn here for us all for a few years, and this is where you're going to really learn big time type of experiences, how to take care of yourself, how to figure out who you are, what is your identity, how do you identify with other people in a human experience. And the Four of Pentacles could also come with a quid pro quo that it is great to feel stable and to hold on to what you've got, but the moment you have to hold on too tight because you're terrified of what the future could bring, let alone what will happen if I release these coins to pay my cell phone bill. Will I have enough coins to pay for my electricity? How am I going to do this? I just want to give up. At that point, we've got to help you just kind of release and relax and let it go so that you don't feel that you're really more than anything harboring or fostering or festering this idea of lack. Remember that the universe has everything in it that we need, and we have abilities in most countries of the world to make free and conscious choices and to choose our experience in education and to choose our experience in finding a path that is fulfilling. And all you have to do is go with the flow, which means, of course, finding the flow. making sure you don't end up on the float with a beer and a joint or something. Stay with us, stay conscious. We have to keep in mind that Mars in Libra, which is your solar 11th house of friendships, group associations, the income that you earn from your chosen career or profession, also pertaining to the friends and associations you make along the way. And this could be a handful of your friends that you used to work with 20 years ago, or they could be all 30 friends that you work with today. And so having Mars there opposed to Uranus in your solar 5th house of romance and creativity and children's issues, the family, the siblings, whatever is happening in this house is opposed by that Mars. So it could be that you come across a little too aggressive with your friends over the holiday season. The proverbial party where somebody has to pull their pants down and sit on the copy machine, which I hope people still don't do this, but I recently saw a video of somebody whose butt plunged in through the glass collapsed and his butt was wedged in there, and it was all on the security camera, and I just was dying. I was just dying. So this is where we could have one of these parties where we say something that is insensitive, that we could say something that hurts somebody else's feelings, or it could be unrequited love that you think that somebody at work would make an excellent dating choice. I tell people when you work with these individuals, that's already your sign. Most companies have policies that you cannot fraternize with your coworkers in specific ways. So, if you think you're ever going to be able to have a romance, you really don't want to work with people. It just adds a different dynamic, in my opinion, unless you're a Libra, and then they seem to have an easier time with it. But in that sense, we have to be careful with the energy of Mars in opposition to Uranus, because there could be a surprising comment that's made, or you could be on the receiving end of some comment that doesn't sit well with you. And maybe you're like, wow, I would never have offered unsolicited criticism. Thank you so much. And then you feel like, okay, I just want to go home now. It's totally blown the vibe for me. So if that's the case, just remember to keep mindful of these surprising little elements that could come up. Or maybe you end up going to somebody's company party and you find out that your boyfriend isn't as single as you thought he was at the time he stated he was. And, these strange things that happen when people mix alcohol and parties. I just think it's a bad idea all the way around, unless you're in some polite company that knows when to put the champagne glass down and not pick it up again. Just because they pass it by your face on a platter doesn't mean you have to have another. On Wednesday, we've got the Six of Wands in reverse, and this is a card that indicates you're feeling like, well, I'm close but no cigar. This is great, but it's really more like a bronze medal to me. Look, most people would be happy to just place, anywhere near an Olympics. But you know how it is when people train really hard. They really want that gold. They will settle for silver. And when it's bronze, they're not that happy. Although the rest of us are like, you're a badass honey badger. You did this all on your own, man. You're up there. You're the finest. You're the elite. You're the best athletes ever. And they're like, no, you don't get it. This is a Six of Wands moment for me, and I'm not feeling good about this. Just remember that we're coming up on some more adjustment energies that I think are opportunities more than adjustments, and you'll see how they work out for you. So if you feel a little funky on Wednesday, just go with it. It's hump day. Just, have your Six of Wands moment. And if you don't feel like twirling your ribbon dancer thing, then don't do that. You don't have to. On Thursday, we've got the Magician card that indicates that you're feeling more powerful about yourself. Maybe you spend some time in reflection, introspection. You're going to take some time to go within, not too long. Don't stay there. Just look at it for what it is and realize that life is just a bowl of cherries. For some of you, you know why. Life is just a chair of boles. Just go through it one moment at a time, keeping mindful of the future, doing the right thing, doing the responsible thing, but at the same time, don't let anything get so far ahead of you that you feel that it is some kind of insurmountable beast that you could just never, ever get under control. The Magician says you can, so take that opportunity to work with your higher self and realize that you have as much opportunity and as much potential as anyone else walking around, and probably even more so when you doubt yourself, because the moment you have that eureka moment and you grab onto the idea like, yes, I can, it's like that moment right when the little engine that could decides he really can do it, and he gains momentum, and then of course he's just coasting the rest of the way down on the other side. Venus in Scorpio here will sextile Pluto in Capricorn, so Scorpio being your solar 12th house of the hidden, the unknown, the self-undoing, the institutions and places of confinement, i.e. hospitals and or even bed rest or taking a sabbatical. Some people might be doing hard time in the clink. So this is just a place where we have to really watch, because we could have some past life experiences that come through, especially with Scorpio in this placement. And we have to make sure that we keep it in perspective and understand that anything that comes up for regurgitation, like so much cud, might just be for one more review and then to put it to bed. Or you get a little melancholy without singing Old Lang Syne and you're thinking, I've got to just do something here with this information. Well, I'll bring you a paper shredder for the mind. And then you could put them all in there, because at the end of the day, the experience that you take with you is token compared to the lesson that stays with you for the rest of your life outside of the experience. So there could be the energy of Pluto and Capricorn sextiling this, which is again that second house of income, possessions, the items that you buy, your value systems, what really matters to you in life. And there could be the sense that maybe you're pretty sure you were an aristocrat, if not royalty, in a past life, and you're thinking, why isn't there somebody here to polish my toenails? Well, look, dude, we're all in the same boat together, and unless you're Kate Middleton and Prince William, I love them so much. They're just so precious, and I love that family. I just love looking at them. It makes me wish I were a Brit, but I love these people. So it could be that we need to get past that kind of sense of entitlement and understand that we're here in this experience for whatever reason we've chosen or not chosen. I don't know what to think about that, because when I find myself, and if I realize for sure that I have chosen this experience, I will beat myself down when I go back home. I will not do this again. So just keep that in mind again, that the Mars and Uranus opposition is just a little testy here, and it will permeate the days, and of course it will start to wane the more and more it separates, but we just have to keep that in mind. On Friday, we've got the Nine of Wands in reverse, and this is where you could be feeling two ways. This could be indicative of you feeling like the world is out to get you and there is no hope, and it could be that you're starting to feel better and you got your little sea legs under you, but you're a little shaky, and so with that kind of attitude, you don't know who's coming at you and you're feeling like you got to be ready. Probably not really. It really is just a sensation. Most of you should be able to pass right through this without noticing much more of this on Friday. Now, Friday, we have to keep in mind that the lunation takes place in Pisces, and so that will be in your fourth house of home and stability and foundation and early childhood. And so there could be a few things that come up for review, and I would say have a glass of orange juice and help it go away by the time you're done reading the paper. Just let it go. Here on Friday, we also have the idea that Sun in Sagittarius is squaring the North Node in Virgo. And again, your solar 10th house of career, fame, reputation, profession, the chosen career and profession, the way that other people perceive you out in the world, or the lack of their ability to understand who you are and what you do. So when we've got that being squared off by the Sun in Sagittarius at solar first house, again, there's an issue with the identity, and it seems to be that you are trying to figure out what it is that you will identify with in terms of career or profession. Maybe you've accomplished everything. Maybe you've been a pilot on the Blue Angels and you're like, I have been at the top, dude. The only thing I haven't done, and by the way, is I'm going to try to get on the space shuttle. I want to go to Mars. And you're thinking, look, there's only one more final frontier for me. And yet at the same time, you could still have this person say, I don't know if I'm really feeling it though. Like, wait a second, dude. You know, you flew around in some of the most expensive jets in the world, doing some of the craziest maneuvers, and yet you feel like you want to go on a mission to Mars, and now you're not sure if this even works for you? Whoa, that sounds like a North Node in Virgo being squared by the Sun in Sagittarius, if there ever was one. You've got to remember that what you do isn't for other people to define you. It's how you define yourself that it matters to other people. They're just going to see a reflection of what you want them to see. So if you feel bad about yourself and you don't tell them, they're going to think you're depressed. If you feel bad about yourself and you don't feel like you matter in the world, they're going to notice that you look withdrawn. If you feel like you just have no sunshine, nothing to sing about in your life, they're going to think you need a tan. So there are ways that we can really present ourselves, and even though it may be acting for a while, I say smile, fake it until it sticks. Just like your mom said, if you make faces, they're going to stick. So if I've done it, I did it through a protracted divorce that took years and years. And let me tell you, I must be freaking amazing, because this person would not let me go until just a few years ago. And it reminded me about that time when I had to really fake it, because I thought, wow, I'm not even 40 here. About 40 I was at the time, and I look ancient. And then it occurred to me that it was my smile was missing. So I had to force it. And let me tell you, it ended up sticking, just like the ghastly faces I can make. Keep in mind also that Venus and Scorpio in your solar 12th house, again, that very quiet, introspective kind of past experience, subconscious house, is creating a quincunx inconjunct aspect to Uranus and Aries. So again, there is something here about the way that you relate. And if it isn't about the romance department, if you're not single and looking, it could be about your children. It could also be that you're concerned about your children's issues. Maybe you're wondering if you've done the right kind of parenting, or that if you're still planning children, which you could be, and you haven't done that yet, that you're afraid you won't be able to do it right. And therefore you're in a state, how the heck are you going to get pregnant if you're stressed out all the time? That should be the impetus to get that kind of funky groove on, make a baby, have some fun. Don't try making babies. I've noticed that when people don't try, they end up pregnant one way or another. The stork is going to bring you a bundle of something, and it's probably going to be very exciting along the way. Saturday, we've got the Five of Cups in reverse, and to me, that is a very good thing. I think that this is when you're finally realizing that just because things didn't work out in the past the way that you'd hoped, maybe there are some situations in your past that have been exceedingly painful or difficult, or that you're even afraid that you don't know where Saturn's going to spank you because you just know you got one or two coming. Well, then be like the little rascals. Put a book in your pants. Saturn's not out to spank you anyway. Saturn is just trying to help you figure out how to roll up your sleeves and do the hard work. So for people who roll up their sleeves naturally and do the hard work, they find it very easy, if not even pleasant, to go through their Saturn transit in Sagittarius, especially so, or their Saturn return for Sagittarius sun sign people. And they realize that if they just apply the elbow grease, Saturn comes down and does it with you. But for those who sit around thinking that it's got to be handed to you, that somebody's got to polish those toes, that somebody should celebrate you just because you had another baby boy, hey, Kim Kardashian, or that we all have to bend over and, take it so that you can feel good about delivering it. No, that's when Saturn says, yeah, pretty much that's not going to work. If you want to get something done and you really want to do it well during a Saturn transit, how do you do it? Roll up your sleeves and go milk the cow. Saturn will come by and bring you buckets. Trust me. On Sunday, we've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And again, there could be the element of either a little disappointment about what your financial picture looks like for the holidays, or it could be that you were hoping for a bonus from your spouse's job and it's not going to be exactly what you hoped it would be. If you think about this again, the real reason for the season, whatever you have defined, is at least, and for most people, about caring and loving each other. I would love it if I was available to be able to go and, help dish out a meal on Christmas. I was hoping I could do it this Thanksgiving and it didn't work out that way for us. I just want to be there to tell other people that I think they're great and that I love them. And so in one way or another, even if you can't afford to give the people that you love a gift or to show them that you care, it could be that the most important thing you figure out this week, my friend, is that a phone call that says, hey, you know what? I love you. I wish I could give you the moon on a string and I'd fly it with you like a kite and I'd make all the stars dance for you. And the moment that that person hears you and says, oh, I love you, that's when you know that that's the real gift of being together in this human experience, no matter what it is, come what may, and to whatever end, that it is about being together, being part of a conscious collective and sending love out into the world. And that's what you need. And I will be sending it to you. Sagittarius, make great choices physically and spiritually. And I'll be talking to you next week.